Hello and welcome to our history podcast, Saved by the Liberty Bell. We are your hosts, Gael,
Annalise.
Zoe.
and Addison. And this podcast is history but actually fun. In this episode, we're taking a trip back to the 1700s to find out how the 13 British colonies turned into the United States of America. Yep, it's time for the road to revolution. Settle in.
So picture this. It's the mid 1700s. The British just finished the French and Indian War, and they won. Yay, Britain, right? Well, not exactly. That war was expensive. And guess who Britain thought should help pay for it? The American colonists. Enter the first bump in the road taxes. In 1765, Parliament passed the Stamp Act. This law said colonists had to pay a tax on paper goods, newspapers, legal documents, even playing cards. But the colonists were not happy. They had no say in this law. That's when the phrase "no taxation without representation" started, making tax waves. Colonists wanted a voice in the British government if they were going to be taxed.
Fast forward a few years. After more taxes like the Townshend Acts and the protests, the British sent more soldiers to the colonies to keep things under control. But that only made things worse. On March 5th, 1770, things got really heated in Boston. A crowd of colonists started arguing with British soldiers, and suddenly shots were fired. 5 colonists were killed. This became known as the Boston Massacre. The word massacre spread fast and made more people turn against Britain. Then came the Tea Act in 1773. It actually made tea cheaper, but only for the British East India Company. Colonists saw it as a sneaky way to make them accept more British control.
So what they do? Spill the tea.
That's exactly what they did. The Boston Tea Party, a group called the Sons of Liberty dressed like Mohawk Indians, and snuck into ships and dumped 342 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor.
Fun fact, they dumped 90,000 pounds of tea into the Boston Harbor. That's the same as about 18 million cups of tea, enough to make a giant swimming pool of Earl Grey.
Make it sweet, he I'd swim in it.
Britain was furious. They punished Boston for the Intolerable Act. These laws closed the harbor, took away local government, and let British soldiers live in colonists' homes. Yeah, a total invasion of privacy. Colonists were like, oh, okay, now you guys gone too far. They started meeting in secret in 1774. Representatives of the colonies gathered in Philadelphia at the first Congress to decide what to do next.
Fun fact number 2, not everyone wanted to be independent. About 1/3 of colonists were loyalists, and that meant they wanted to support Britain. Another were patriots, and the rest were undecided.
Then in April 1775, everything changed. The British troops marched into Lexington and Concord to capture the weapons and arrest the colonial leaders, but the colonists ready. The Minutemen, colonial militia, who could get ready in a minute, met them. The first shots of American Revolution were fired. No one knows who fired the first shot, but in that moment became known as the shot heard around the world. And just like that, the road to revolution ended in open war.
Let's hit the highlights. Britain taxed the colonists, starting with the Stamp Act. Colonists protested no taxation without representation. The Boston Massacre made tensions worse. The Boston Tea Party made a splash, literally. The Intolerable Acts pushed the colonists over the edge. Colonies united the First Continental Congress. And finally, at Lexington and Concord, the revolution officially began.
Time for some questions from our classmates. Number 1, why were the colonists so mad about being taxed if the tea was cheaper? Well, that's an amazing question. Even though the Tea Act made tea cheaper, the colonists were mad because they had no say in this law. They believed only their own colonial government had the right to tax them. It wasn't just about money, it was about fairness and freedom. They felt like Britain was trying to control them and without listening to them. Number 2, what was the Boston Massacre and why was it such a big deal? The Boston Massacre was when British soldiers fired into a crowd of angry colonists, killing 5 people. It shocked a lot of people and made the colonists even more angry at Britain. Paul Revere made a famous engraving that made it look like the British just attacked innocent people, which helped turn people against them, even if the story was a completely different ending. Number 3, did everybody want to fight the British right away? Good question. Nope, not at first. Many colonists still thought of themselves as British citizens and didn't want a war. Some wanted to fix things peacefully, but after a few events like the Boston Tea Party and the Intolerable Acts, and more people started to believe that fighting for independence was the only option. Still, not everybody agreed, but most colonists that were called loyalists stayed loyal to the king.
Game time, 2 truths and a lie. You guys try to guess what statement is false. Number 1, the Boston Massacre resulted in the deaths of over 100 colonists. Number 2, the First Continental Congress met in 1774 to respond of British action. 3, the phrase "no taxation without representation" became a slogan for the colonies. Try to guess.
I think it's 1.
Drum roll, please. The answer is number 1.
Yay!
The statement won because only 5 colonists died in the Boston Massacre, not over 100. It was still a major event that fueled anger against the British. But the term massacre may sound bigger to increase support for the patriot cause.
And that's the road to revolution. From unfair taxes to full-on rebellion, the American colonists were done with British rule. Catch you next time when we dive into what happened during the Revolutionary War. Thanks for hanging out with us today on Saved by the Liberty Bell, where it's history class but fun. If you learned something new, be sure to follow, subscribe, or share the podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.